Welcome to the Unchurching Podcast. There's just so much more. Welcome back. Thank you for listening. And I trust you've enjoyed at least a few of these episodes. Just a few gentle reminders. One is that we are not here to tell you how things are. We are not here to help you create your new belief system. We are here to share a journey with you that we are on, and that this is really created for those who are also on at whatever stage. That means that there are many different people listening at different stages of awakening, and some people are really just questioning why they're feeling unsettled in certain things. Others are quite far down the road. And so some of the language that we use, some of the principles that we speak about, particularly in this episode, might be completely new to you. Mm-hmm. And it's okay. Just be open to those. And trust me, there's no danger in discovery. There's no danger in being open. And they might sound a bit weird. I would say that if you discount some of them immediately, ask yourself why you're discounting those. Is that because somebody told you to discount it that way? Have you been conditioned to believe that certain words or certain principles are just evil or of the devil or whatever it is? What programming were you under? And so try to be open. I can only tell you that from our lives, being open, coming from being a strict theologian to being open, has been the most rewarding spiritual experience. I've learned more. I feel more at peace. I feel more confident. I feel closer to God, closer to myself, closer to others. So that's really a witness is what you have to go on at this point. But if you're feeling like you're in the void and you've lost identity, then you may as well go with a witness, right? That's how you got yourself in that other situation in the first place. It's probably the way you're going to get yourself out. So just be open to it. I also want to say that if you are further down the line, don't get frustrated with some of the simpler things that we bring up for people that are earlier in their journey. True. Because most of us need to revisit the simple things, because if we're honest with ourselves, those are the things actually that matter. It's not a journey of discovering more and more and more and more. It's a journey of being, and it's usually the simple things that help you to be.
Yeah, and we've never said that we necessarily know everything by any means. Every day I learn new things. I must be honest, nothing that I have learned have I come hard against as a hard no. But I think that comes in being open to all probability and possibility. And in those moments, like you said, where you want to fight it, just being like, how do I know? How do I know this is not something that could be true, right? And I think I might have had a real hard time getting there because I was so black and white. Even in the Christian church, like it was this way or that way. It was right or wrong. I was very much in that kind of mindset and head space. And so I don't know if I didn't have a very visceral, like shake me to my core experience, that I would have been as open as to believing what I believe now than I do. And so, I mean, I guess this is the part where I speak about my experience.
Hold the phone, everybody. For once, she has not said, I'm going to tell that story one day. I'll get there sometime. Funny. She's actually gone, I'm going to tell the story. We're actually going to hear it this time.
No, this is not even the full story. This is just
Cue popcorn.
It's not.
And Olipop. I'm ready. Let's go.
No, if you've listened to this podcast, you've probably heard the story before, so I don't know why you're this excited about it. But okay, I'll just give a brief overview of what happened for those who may not have heard the story on a previous episode. But I had a very, very visceral, life-changing dream, and it was basically a near-death experience in the dream. And in having the dream, I won't go into all the details, but it was like in society, you went in for monthly health checks, and if you were clocked in and it was your time to go, whether you were healthy or sick or young or old, if it was your time, it was your time, and they would basically give you 3 days to prep
Time to go as in time to die?
Yes, like put you to death. And you basically had 3 days to wrap up your stuff and then go back into this facility, and they would whatever. I don't know how it happened. I never actually got to see myself die, which I'm very grateful for.
You got to pay your taxes first. And Rehome your dog.
It was terrible. This is not even a funny story. It was so confronting. And what I realized in the dream, and I knew I was realizing as I was dreaming, is that like when I die, I have actual no idea of what happens. Truthfully, like I don't have any conviction inside of me as to 100% I believe what heaven looks like.
When did you realize? You realized that in the dream?
In
or
the
you realized
dream.
that after the dream?
No, in the dream. That was the torment I
wow.
went through in that period between knowing I was going to die and actually dying. It was this, what do I do? How do I know? Like all these questions happen. And when I woke up in my conscious state of mind, I couldn't even answer those questions. And I was like, oh crap, it made me really fearful. Like if I've let go of a lot of the foundation of what I'm believing, and it didn't really matter what heaven was, as long as I believed in Jesus and was going there, and not going to hell, that was fine for me. And I don't know why it was fine, that I never questioned it before. And so this really propelled me into reading the next book after the Eckhart Tolle books, essentially, which was a series of 3 books, Journey of Souls, and Wisdom of Souls.
No, you said Journey of Souls twice. Or was there
What?
2 journeys? Journey of Souls, Wisdom of Souls, and Destiny of Souls.
Thank you. What my brain totally thought I was saying. All 3 of them. Okay. So these 3 books, Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls, and Wisdom of Souls by Michael Newton, again, they just came to me. Like I was like, I need to learn about the afterlife. And when I Googled or checked Amazon, this is the book that popped up and it caught my attention. I was like, Journey of Souls. What is the journey of our soul? Yes, I need to know this. And so I read all 3 of them back to back, and it was phenomenal. It just gave me such a wider view of what our purpose is here. And I think connected to like last week's podcast on present moment, it made all the trivial things that we think about and worry about and have anxiety about on this world, it made them so much smaller, including death. It made them so much more like, oh, okay, I understand now why I'm dealing with this, or I understand now that this is not a big deal, because I know my purpose of being here, because it's linked to what we know about the soul realm. And I'm not saying like unequivocally that this is all 100% right, because I still believe as humans on earth, we will never know everything. We can only possibly have these conversations and speak about what feels true in our soul. But we did have some experiences that confirmed this to us as well. And that's why we're really sharing it. Because otherwise, I don't think I would share this just based on books. But this is really shared from personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I remember when you picked that book up for the first time and you're like, Journey of Souls. And I was like, here we go now. Now we're really going woohoo. Yeah. I was like, okay. And then you started sharing things with me from there.
Yeah.
Gently, because I wasn't reading it with you. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, that actually sits right. That actually makes sense. And it's like you say, it started giving me answers for things that I'd never questioned before.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the things that I hadn't questioned before were the things that were creating so much confusion and doubt in my Christian life. And yeah, we don't talk about heaven. We don't define that. And I don't know, there's so much more expansiveness in this line of thought.
Yes.
But, and freedom, like you said.
Oh, so much freedom, but also grace for yourself.
For me, it relieved the pressure of feeling like this is this one life I get to live.
True.
And it has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
All the pressures that come physically and spiritually in this life. It was like, this is this one life that I have to live. And this understanding of the soul realm and realizing that this is one of the journeys that I'm on, and there's likely other journeys. For me, that simple thought was like, it set me free from the perfection that I always tried to attain in this life.
I know, it's so good. And I want us to just try stay rooted in this part of the journey and not get pulled into what we actually believe closer to now, because this is a great starting point for understanding more about the soul realm, but there's just so much more connected to this down the line that's even bigger and stuff. But I want to really start here, because it just unlocks a few things. Again, it's not the ultimate truth. It's just unlocking things and expanding our awareness of the possibility of what could be, right? And so what if you're a soul in this beautiful place, and the purpose of you being on this journey and created as the soul by the source of all things is to progress, to become closer and more akin to the source itself until you become part of it, right? And so as a soul, what if the way that you reach this is by coming to earth, forgetting everything you know about the soul realm and about who you are as a soul, and experiencing this human adventure of grief, joy, distraught, happiness, all the beautiful emotions that can tear you apart or lift you up as high as you can. What if the whole purpose of this journey is to develop yourself as the soul, to become closer and closer to the beautiful version of who you are, so that there's always a cycle in nature. There's always a cycle in the universe. Everything is always evolving into a better, more beautiful version. As much as Christians want to tell you that the earth is in decay and everything's falling apart and it's all going to be ruined and nothing will be left until Jesus returns, that is not what's
including
happening.
your body and your...
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of like that. There just was a lot of that heaviness, like everything material is just pointless. And that also affects how we looked after the earth,
100%.
how we looked after our bodies and such, and how we viewed things. It was like, oh, it's all temporal, it's all wasting away. Whereas if you view it like you're saying, that it has purpose, it all has purpose for us right now.
Yes.
In us growing as a soul and enjoying this journey and using this human body as the vessel to grow, to learn, to experience. I was at dinner just last night with some friends, amazing dinner, and so I could talk the rest of the podcast about this dinner. It's unbelievable.
Please don't.
We turned to each other at one point, a friend and I, and we said, Geordie actually, who used to be a Mormon, and we're going to have them on the show sometime. That is phenomenal to hear Mormonism and Christianity parallels. But we just looked at each other at one point and just said, isn't it amazing that we get to taste? Like, without a human body,
yes.
You wouldn't be able to taste all these different foods. You wouldn't be able to experience these textures and whatever it is for you. But that recognition that we are here in a human body with these beautiful abilities to run, not being able to walk even a lot of the time for my last 7 months of like physical awakening journey, I look forward to running again.
Crazy.
Because there's something really connected about the body that we get to live in. And so this soul journey did that for me as well. It freed me to use my body and experience my body in a way that I hadn't even considered before, because everything was just about spirit.
Yes, so essentially what happens is you learn very quickly that everything that happens in your life is for a purpose, even the bad stuff. It's for your growth. It's for your expansion. It's not for you to sit in it and wallow and be a victim in all the things you're facing. The purpose of it is to overcome it so that you can grow and become this version of yourself. And so all of a sudden when you're faced with adversity, it's not like, why me, God? Or God, please take this burden from me. No, you step up, you do your thing and you own it and you overcome it. And then you look back and go, my gosh, I just did that.
You're talking about your soul?
Well, inadvertently both, because your soul is using your human body for these experiences to evolve and grow. So you're growing as both a human, because I've grown in my understanding and my awareness and my practicalities as a human on this earth, but my soul has expanded too because I can feel it and I feel more connected to God and the divine and everything. So it's not separate at this point. It's very much connected, but the interconnectedness of this journey is actually really beautiful. Okay, so let's go deeper into what we're speaking about, like what we actually read. And again, like this is not hard truth. This is just basically these books dive into, under hypnosis, people get to recount and live what their experiences in the soul realm is.
You're like a deep hypnosis, not like on stage, cluck like a chicken type stuff. This is like, I can't remember the terminology, but it's like layers deep of hypnosis, and 7,000 people just covered in the first book, all reporting the same stuff. So
yes,
like
it's crazy because the way they do it is it's past life regression. So they basically regress you through hypnosis, layers deep into your past life to experience your past life death and what happened from that point into the soul realm and the experiences that people have while in the soul realm before coming back to earth for their present life. And so...
Okay, wait. Hold the front door. So you're saying that we've all had past lives?
Yes, it was a hard line for me to cross, believing in reincarnation, because that's a hard no.
Well, not is it reincarnation? Like I didn't come back as a cow. I'm not planning on it.
No, that's a whole different line of thought.
That's a different reincarnation. Okay.
Reincarnation is your soul coming back over and over again to experience new experiences as a human, to keep progressing as a soul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that even on the planet right now, I'm just trying to think as broadly as possible. I'm trying to be as open as possible. That's what I'm trying to do. So even on the planet now, then there would be younger souls.
Yes.
And there would be older souls.
Yes. You know, when they say like, oh, that he's such an old soul. Yes, literally he probably is, because you can sense it. Why have we said these things before?
Feeling that weightiness, maybe carrying wisdom from previous lives.
Yes. You feel it.
Because your soul is eternal, so it's continuing on that growth, that weightiness.
Yeah, and so coming out of Christianity, I never believed in a pre-life, only a post-death like experience in a realm outside of the physical realm. And so being open to the possibility, and these people were like spot on about the details of their past lives and things that had happened. And there were even ailments in their current bodies that pointed, when they went into hypnosis, that pointed to a connection to how they died in the past life. And they were still having like remnants of, I think there was like a guy who, I don't know, was like shot in the neck in a past life, and he would struggle from neck pain. And so going into this past life regression, he could also release the trauma from his soul, from his past life, something that's connected to him, and release the pain from his body as well. And I mean, that's a whole different
that's wild
purpose of it.
Yeah.
But so these stories were gathered, and so the point wasn't the past life. The point was what happened after they died, because they all experienced their death in the past life again, and then spoke about what they saw coming out from that death, you know, leaving the body, going towards the light, all the things that we like kind of have spoken about or maybe believed in is things that people really have experienced in near-death experiences as well. And so traveling through that light tunnel, meeting people on the other side. And so that's kind of the point to which I had an understanding. But then what actually happens in that realm just like blew my mind open.
Okay.
Oh, should I keep going?
Oh, what? Is this time for a commercial break or something? What is happening here? Tell me.
Oh, that is so funny. Okay. And so a lot of people are met by like past people that have died before them. Like some people are met by their grandmother or by family members, and your soul is still disoriented from just having left the physical realm. And so that kind of recognition is like your first experience of like safety, that your soul is safe.
Can we choose the people who meet us?
I don't think we...
Because there's some people that like, I'm just like, if I was forming a spiritual welcoming committee, there are some people that I don't want on the committee.
That's very funny. Well, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't think so. The only answer I have for that kind of is you have spirit guides, which people call guardian angels or whatever you want to refer it to, but you have these spirit guides who guide you through this whole process. And so I think in some way they might be responsible for deciding who meets you, because they meet you sometimes straight after death to go on the journey with you. The biggest thing I learned about the soul realm is there's free will.
Wait a minute. To go on the journey with you, that's amazing. That reminds me of a story that I have from my Oma, which is Afrikaans word for grandmother. She was on Afrikaans side of our family, and she had a long battle before dying to cancer.
Right.
And she was bedridden for a long time, and we were around her a lot because we lived next door, still hang out. I was like, 5 or 6 years old, whatever. But I remember that she would always say, "They're waiting for me."
Wow.
And would say, "What?" And it said, "They're waiting for me, the man with the boat, to take me to the other side."
That gave me chills, pure chills, my whole body.
I've never told you this story before. I just remembered it now. It's
wow.
That's so interesting.
Dude, well, that's kind of a little bit of, and we don't need proof, we're not proving anything, but that's kind of affirming in this.
Yeah, people very close to death, I've been around a fair amount of them, and they see, like when you speak about the veil between life and death, or life and the hereafter, the veil is very thin. And I do think that's why awakening involves so much suffering, either mentally or physically, because there's a thinning of the veil that needs to happen for you to be open to these spiritual things. But
True.
At close to death, which is so much suffering, often, especially long-term chronic illness, I think that veil's thin, that they actually are seeing like into this spiritual realm.
Yes. And I mean, I was saying the coolest thing about the soul realm that I discovered is, as a soul, you have free will. It's not like you arrive at the gates of heaven, your box is checked, they assign you your mansion, you whatever, live out your life worshiping God for the rest of time. It's like, no, as soon as you enter the soul realm, you have complete free will. You don't even have to go with your guides back to the soul realm right away if you don't want to. And it's why there's a lot of spirits that linger and stay around their people, especially if it's traumatic events. Some souls stay in the physical realm, and I mean, it's a very great explanation for what might be ghosts or other kind of entity things. And so I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then
energies.
Well, that's what the soul really is the energy. And so getting to the soul realm, and it's hard to explain because we visualize it with a physical mind and we make pictures of it to be physical in our brains when it's not that. But it's a place where your soul keeps learning, expanding, and becoming, even when not in physical human form. So it's basically still part of the journey. It's still part of the journey. It's amazing. And there's things like groups that you belong to, which are called your soul group. And it's kind of the group of souls that are on this journey with you. And what's kind of phenomenal is we kind of believe that we've met ours on earth. And when you see how you get there, it's quite a cool thing. And it's part of this journey. And it's even with soulmates, when people meet.
I was going to say that. I was going to get the points and bring you up as a soulmate, but fine, you go ahead.
Okay, fine. You go ahead. No, I'll give you the points.
No, I just sort of say that was, I know a lot of people don't get to experience this, but you and I mean, we had a journey as friends in our marriage. We have had a journey as lovers in our marriage. And then we came to a point where we realized actually the depth of this, the weight of this is actually soulmate. But what does that mean? It's not like a fancy word that goes on a Hallmark card. A soulmate is like, we've probably known each other before this life. We probably chose to come here and do this journey together and found each other. It's so like fantasy movie when you talk about it. But I mean, even that must have come from somewhere, that expression of those fantasies, those movies, those books. And I don't know, how do you explain when something just resonates within you? It just does.
Yeah, it's only great feelings, and you gotta go. Jesus even said, "You'll know them by their fruits," right? And so, when things are making you a better human, when things are bringing you closer to yourself, to other people, to your partner, and when you're getting so much more depth out of your journey of life and impacting humanity in a more positive way, even if it's even if it's not right, does it matter? You're being wonderfully, beautifully human then.
That's such a good point. It is absolutely true because, yes, that's exactly how we feel and what we're experiencing. Now, I can hear people's voices going, yeah, but then why can't I just stay in church? Church makes me a better person. Church gives me a community. Church gives me, yes, here's the question for you about church. Is it the real you in church? Is it the real you? Or is it a paradigm? If you are free to be the real you in church, wonderful, go ahead. I will tell you that my experience and others like me, our experience is that as you become more of the real you, you realize that it's very hard to do that in a structured system like church.
Yep.
Very difficult because if you're honest with yourself, it's not the real you. You act a certain way, you behave a certain way, you are a certain way. And so this has been extremely freeing to see that, yeah, if my soul existed before this life and will exist after this life, which makes sense to me because spirit is eternal and I came from source, then this part of my physical journey is a journey that I get to grow from, I get to enjoy, I get to learn from. It even becomes a privilege going through the struggles because you're learning stuff and you're growing through stuff. Your soul,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing you've described makes me think of a very specific person who lived that way. And his name was Jesus. And it makes me understand how Jesus could be free of things, how he could forgive so easily, how he could tell people not to worry about tomorrow. You know, all the things Jesus preached and spoke about is what I believe now more than ever before, not because someone's telling me to believe it, but because I've embodied it for myself through personal experience of expansion and acceptance. And so, that's the crazy. I mean, that's what we kind of discovered learning about the soul realm, is that you, at some point, you decide to incarnate back onto earth, and you decide how and when you do that. And you will sign off, I guess. They always make jokes about soul contracts and how stupid our souls were sometimes for
It's
signing
like
off.
decisions that we made before we came back
Yes.
in this
And
human
you're like,
experience.
yes. And you're like, why did my soul decide for me to go through this freaking journey right now? And so we make a lot of jokes about it, but essentially that's the thought, like you see things, how they will unfold, and you decide that you're capable and willing to do it and excited to do it. And then you come to earth, and this is where the crux of the story is that one part of the process of doing this as a soul is that you forget. That's the deal. You come back as a soul, but you start from zero, not knowing who you are, forgetting everything about that. And then you come into this world of, think about when you were a kid, there was just so much more things that you thought were possible. You'd daydream, you'd play make-believe, you'd have make-believe friends, which maybe they weren't so make-believe, you were open to so much more of the spiritual as a kid. And then systems come in and conditioning comes in and all these things comes in that teaches you how to be human. And sometimes we lose touch for a while, but then I think there's this returning back to you, and it's why people go through suffering. It's why, like you, people go through really bad traumatic illnesses and sicknesses to bring you back to really focusing on who you are. I had the mental battle that brought me back.
Who you decided, wait, what do you mean who you are? Who you decided you were going to be before you came into the physical world?
No, coming back to who you are essentially as a soul, as a divine being, as not human, as your soul.
Right,
That's
right, right.
what remembering is. It's remembering who you are, the divinity you carry within you, because you come from a source and from a realm that is far beyond this dimension.
And if you could remember who you are
yes,
then you would realize that this physical realm is a journey of these lessons
yes,
and the experiences, good and bad. And the goal is not to get a bigger house. The
no,
goal is to remember that, because operating from that place is very different to operating from just the physical realm. When you can understand that it's bigger.
yeah. Well, the goal is to remember who you are, essentially, so that you can operate out of a place of pure love for yourself and for those around you. And essentially, in doing so, you're supposed to give something of yourself to humanity. This is what humanity is supposed to be. We're all supposed to be bringing our gifts and ourselves and our true, authentic expression into this world, so that all of humanity can progress into consciousness.
Yes, a collective consciousness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so that's the purpose. And so the real thing is here is giving yourself the space to remember who you are, essentially, as this divinely created being. And I mean, I would highly suggest to read the books, even if it's just if you just see it as like a fiction and a story, because they're cool stories.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, they're very interesting. But man, my perception of the purpose of everything just expanded so much, and everything improved. I improved, my business improved, my relationships improved. At the right time, I was led to the right people who now I believe are 100% my soul group family. And there's still been no negatives out of this experience, no matter how far I dive.
So it's not saying like, it's not a fatalistic thing. It's not like you're a soul and you decide this is exactly what my journey is going to be, and then that's what your journey is. You have to have this pressure of discovering your calling and your purpose, and you're going to miss it if you don't. It's not about that. What it is a soul going, I'm going to progress to the next level of soulmanship, or whatever it's called, soulship, but progress as a soul. And one of the tools to do that is to live this human life, learn these lessons. Such, unfortunately, a lot of people will live this just in the gray area, completely lost in the programs, and they won't learn anything, or they might learn something. I don't know. But what struck me so much is that it just opened things. It was all about opening experiences that we could have about different things. And it just started opening stuff for us, which was, I just found myself having to be so open to these new things because they were kind of out there.
They were kind of out there. And I helped us open that up a little bit, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to just get my resources from one book. So let me dive into the good stuff and get another Deepak Chopra book. And it was the Life After Death book, because I wanted to see, okay, let's see what this side of the table says. And I mean, these are ancient teachings. And so when they speak of the soul realm, they call it the Akashic field. And they speak about life reviews that happen and also guides and stuff. And it all kind of lined up with these studies that were being done under hypnosis. And like the same thing, your soul is there to learn and grow and expand to the point of where there's the Akashic records, which are this expansive like library of knowledge that your soul has access to. You can even go back and like relive or through these records, see how your previous lives unfolded, learn from them, take from them what you want into the next life. And I was just like, my brain wants to really put that into a very physical practice, but I don't think we can understand how you operate as pure energy by being human unless you're fully enlightened and aware of what that looks like, or you've been there. It's hard. And speaking of being there, you have a great story. I think it was at one of your lowest points, huh?
I mean, I have two stories.
Okay.
The one is, the one was really wild, and I really can't say it without saying that it was your first plant medicine ceremony. that you had done, and which already was like being open to that was already something else, which we'll speak about at some point with
Yes.
people who know more about it than we do.
Yes.
Even though we've both been through a plant ceremony, but that night I hadn't yet. I'd never done that. I was still just struggling with. When you hear my awakening story, it's been very physical. It's been very, very physically suffering to get my attention to wake up, and it's been very long, which takes its own explanation of yourself. If you go and Google this, it does happen. Some awakenings happen through the mental, like Rachelle went through, which is also extremely difficult and tormenting. Some go through physical awakening, which is extremely tormenting, just different ways. I don't think you can go through awakening without suffering. That's why I was saying in one of the previous episodes is be careful that you don't just buy into the culture, like buy some crystals and go to retreats and whatever, read about Akashic field and such, but you don't actually experience and practice.
Dive deep. You gotta heal. You gotta heal the inside.
So you got to go through the stuff, but you got to be open to it. And so you came home from that plant ceremony that night. I didn't feel I was ready for doing one yet, and we both go to bed that night. But you end up going into what later you would understand is not a dream. It's the Akashic field, which you can actually enter. I don't know. I guess some people can do it willingly. I don't know how it exactly works, but you could enter this other realm, which is where these records are stored and I guess various things happen, but a different spiritual plane, let's say. And you can feel it's not a dream. It feels physical. It feels like you are there, like you're somewhere else. But what I didn't understand until then, because I hadn't heard these words or anything at all, we're still really just learning this stuff or hearing them here and there. But next thing I know, I'm in a different place and I'm seeing this file and all of these images and things, which I know were mine, getting filed away like really fast in front of me. And it was very tiring. I'm like, I just want to sleep and rest because I'm physically tired. And, come in the morning, we realize that this woman of mine, through her experience, has pulled me in to the space as well, bearing in mind that I had not done a plant ceremony. I was not on that plane at all, but ended up in there. Now, when I'd wake up in the mornings, we would compare notes on what the hell happened last night. And we had both felt a presence in the room, a loving presence, but a powerful presence in the room. We had not recognized it together. Only when we spoke the next morning did we realize, oh, wow, we had the same experience there. I actually put my experience into ChatGPT. I put it in the same thread as I've been doing all my healing stuff in, and it overlaid the awakening healing with this experience and told me that it was a shift in timeline. And I'd heard these things before, and they're very real now. We'll speak about them at some point because these things are actually very real. And things started to make sense. It started to put together this awakening experience. And so this is a real physical experience, one of two that I had that made what we were reading and made what we were learning and made what we were starting to believe real.
Yes, so real. And that timeline shift, just to put it into perspective, is really you just stepping away from like a lot of old self things and becoming a better version of yourself. And so you filed away a lot of your past, a lot of your old programming, a lot of your old belief system, a lot of your trauma. Yes, that was the rapid filing, was you filing that stuff away because it was no longer part of your identity. So shifting that is just you shift it into a higher version of yourself, a higher frequency, whatever you want to call it. And that's the whole part of this process. And so it's very cool.
Unwilling, unknowing, but
I didn't know. Yes.
That's an important point.
It's true, unwilling.
Knowing, Unwilling because I didn't know what to will for,
Yeah, that's true. It just
but
happened.
open.
Yeah, you were open. You were open to anything at that point because you were actually struggling really badly. And I think that's the purpose of the suffering, is that it opens you to be like, I don't care what happens. I just need something to happen
Same
because
as what
I'm
happened with
just
you
done with
mentally
this.
in that
Yes.
space of
Yeah,
talking.
the dream wasn't, I didn't ask for my dream. It wasn't willing either. It just happened. And so that's pretty cool.
That's awakening. And
Yeah, it
just
is.
like, I understand that, obviously the people that I mentor, and you might be considering being one of those, and, listen to this podcast. It's nice to feel that is part of the process. You're not alone. Like the void is part of it. It's part of awakening. And the suffering is actually not suffering because you have to suffer to gain something. It's suffering because you have been controlled by something and you're being torn away from that. All the programs that are shrouding who you really are, that's shrouding your remembrance of you as a soul prior to this and after this, shrouding the big picture. These are the things that are being torn away from us. And it's difficult because a lot of them have just been instilled in us from birth, and we believe them to be us, and they're not us.
I know, and let me mention this here too, because it could relieve a lot of pain from people. And grief is like, sometimes you decide to incarnate on this earth with someone else in knowing that someone might leave you sooner than they're meant to, like a spouse might pass away or a kid might pass away. And some of that could be your process of awakening. And so that in that suffering, because we all suffer, we're all going to die, like we're all going to have those experiences, but sometimes that happens to awaken something in you, and that was part of your choice and your journey and your partner's journey and choice too. And guess what? You're going to see them again, like in the soul realm, and you're going to do multiple lifetimes together for like eternity until you become who you're meant to. And wow, isn't that so much better than just losing someone and having to wait to die to be with them in heaven forever? And like that's it,
Hopefully to be in heaven with them forever.
Yeah.
Hopefully you both make it, and hopefully you do see each other, and then I don't know what you're going to do there. Hopefully you enjoy spending time with that person. I don't know. But
I know.
What is amazing to me is as we go down this road, we always think of these as brand new concepts, but they're not. All of these are concepts that have been twisted into religion to some degree, just to give you a little shadow of it. We were talking about other dimensions, other fields. That is completely, we see that in religion. A council of elders, that's not there for judgment, but actually there to help you learn. And spirit guides, or what people might call angels, that are there to guide. These are all things that are there. It's not
We
completely
do believe that.
woo-hoo.
Yeah.
It's not completely out there.
You're right.
But the fundamental intention behind is different. There to help you instead of there to judge you. Not trying to see if you qualify for a fiery pit or a cloudy harp. But you
Cloudy harp.
but to help you through this journey of learning and growing, and through multiple lives and all of these things. And we mentioned a lot of things, past lives, future lives, parallel timelines, all happening at once.
Oh gosh, that's next level.
Your brain just starts
can't.
overheating. Yeah, I know.
Wrap around that. Yeah.
But what does change it for you is these experiences. And the second one I had was that night when I was just feeling so broken in my body, and I was sleeping on my side in bed, and the next thing I knew, it was not a dream. I know it was not a dream. Physically, I felt like I was lying in that same position on a gurney or a table of sorts in a completely white room. And
the aliens abducted you.
Yeah, right. And there was a presence in that room.
Wow.
Next to me. And that presence, I felt nothing but love, pure love, and teaching. And that it was teaching me that the way to heal my body was to really commit and take part in the disciplines of breath work, meditation,
Oh,
and those spaces. And that really did end up playing a massive role in my body. I mean, I was meditating multiple times a day, which is rewiring your brain, rewiring your health, even rewiring your cellular structure, even affects your DNA. This is all scientifically proven. And I started engaging in breathwork, and what it did is it made me more open. The thing that made me more open was not the quest to try and heal my body. It was the amount of love that I felt in that experience.
wow.
And so pure, the purest love I've ever felt. Like I want to go back there in the evenings if I had a choice. And what kind of being that was, what entity that was, I don't fully know. I know that I put it in GPT, all of this stuff, both the filing and this stream, and it revealed a lot about what, obviously, GPT will gather a lot of information that's out there from a lot of different sources, and it explained a lot to me about that and how it lined up with my healing journey and awakening and everything, and it's all very real and very explainable. You see, sometimes we hear these things and we think, oh, well, that's just whatever happened in your brain or chemical. No. There's more than enough people speaking up, especially through these last 4 years of intense awakening. And it's only escalated 4 years, 4 months, 4 weeks. We just see more and more and more and more people awaken. And so there's a lot of information about that, of people that have had similar experiences.
Yeah.
And this stuff's real.
Yeah.
So those were the things that I could go, okay, I don't really need to understand all of this stuff. Like, it's fascinating to speak about past lives, future lives, all this stuff, and it's very freeing. But more than anything, it's just helping me be more open. And in being more open, I'm experiencing the much deeper reality of things like love.
Yeah. And the thing I just thought about in you saying that, which like blew my mind, is like we have a big group and a big community of people that we're with right now. Like our closest friends is like 8 or 9 of us, and all of us are having these same experiences. And then there's like even more people beyond that we know of and speak to that are having these same experiences. And I don't remember having that conversation with anyone I knew in church. I wasn't having, like, I was having vivid dreams and experiences and all these things as a Christian, but there was no one that could relate to that. Maybe here or there someone would speak of something or other, but if you're...
Well, what's funny is the one person who would relate, Brad, is the one person who is the person who started leading me into awakening.
It's crazy.
And we were the people that would question things.
Yeah.
In church. So we were just that little bit more open, and then started discovering the real truth. And that's what we keep saying to people, just be a little bit more open.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if there's so many groups of people that are gathering around the same belief system so strongly on such a consistent basis, following the teachings of one specific human man that was displaying incredible things and things I'm experiencing right now, why en masse are those people not having these experiences? And I'm not saying they aren't. I'm not saying people in church are not having these experiences, but I don't know. I just think you would know. I
think most people are not having these experiences in church, and I think the reason for that is because of the paradigm.
Yeah.
And the programming. See, it's hard for us to explain the depth of it without sounding like we're just bitching and complaining about the church. That's not the point of this. We're just trying to show you that church is very narrow. It's a glimpse, but the thing that keeps it narrow is the programming. And so I think a lot of people don't have these experiences because they either discount it as something demonic or whatever, because Jesus didn't show up in a dream specifically. I think the programming keeps you dull. We've already spoken about in the presence episode that the programming keeps you from being present.
True.
And I think a lot of this is related to being present. that you can accept things in your life right now. It's not this
Yeah.
future thing one day.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of reasons people aren't, but at the same time, I think that a lot of people are experiencing them, don't know what to do with it, and aren't allowed to talk about it to anybody, don't know who they would talk to within the church about it, you know.
It's true. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that, and I've heard a lot of people leave church because of it when it was brought up that those questions were either diminished as not being important or totally ignored because they couldn't be answered. And I mean, literally that is experience that I know people have had. Multiple people, I've heard people's stories. And at the end of the day, like, we're talking about our experience. People have their experiences. Again, nothing is right or wrong. And we understand totally that anything can happen in any place at any time, as it's supposed to. But I mean, the whole point of today was really just to open up a new level of discovery, a new level of like, what is this and what could possibly be possible if this is true. And I would highly encourage people to take the journey. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to lose unless you make something 100% your belief system again and get stuck there. Just don't do that. Just see things for what they are and just allow it to keep expanding you. And that's the beauty of this journey. It never, ever ends.
Yeah, allowing things to be what they are is really amazing. That is your soul just observing the situation, which is generally human, not bouncing into what the future of the situation is because you don't know, you only have the present, not being traumatized or having your nervous system overloaded by the past. These are all healthy things, but it shifts the way you approach so many things. Like you said, like letting them be what they are, like it shifts things like purpose, right? Like pain and like grief, you see it as part of the thing. Like you said, relationships with others, grief, time, like the pressure of time, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like we have to be at a certain point at a certain thing. One of the things for Christians is figuring out your calling, figuring out your purpose. There's so much pressure put on it.
Yeah.
There's so much like, do you know your calling? Do you know your calling? Do you know your purpose? So, well, your purpose is to remember these things so that you can be open to greater.
Yeah. Do these things, you will do things even greater than these.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you had to, I don't know, I feel like there's a practical thing. Yes, we recommend you should read the book, even if you don't read all three of them. Definitely read the first one.
The first one's good, yeah.
But if you could put it like into a closing activation or reflection type thing, what would you do? Just to close this episode out with something it's just a lot of information. It feels like it needs to settle within me in a way.
I think it's just allowing yourself space and time to see these things in its right timing, to understand that. Just take a deep breath. There are guides, there are signs, there are breadcrumbs all around you that are pointing you in the right direction. Just become present. Recognize the things that are guiding you. Ask for guidance. You are a free will soul. And if you want to meet your guides or feel their guidance throughout this process, invite them in. And just create space in your life to allow these things to reveal themselves to you. And just trust that it doesn't have to. And when it does, it'll be exactly what you need in exactly the right time for exactly the right purpose. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found it valuable, please share it with someone who might need it too.
Head over to unchurchingpodcast.com for more resources or to book a free mentorship call. Sometimes you just need someone to process with.
Remember to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram at Unchurching Podcast. Till next time.
Cheers. Ciao. Goodbye.